What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for an instant match reaction. Tottenham 3, Crystal Palace 0 on Boxing Day. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered. Role reversal from earlier on in the season at Selhurst Park. 3-0 role reversal, and also the sending off as well, which definitely had a hand in the outcome of the game, in my opinion. I mean, the way the game started, it was a lot of uncertainty with Crystal Palace coming into the game and who was going to play and if they're going to have enough players to form a team. A lot of people saying that the game was going to be off last night, but alas, the game did go ahead this morning, today. And look, I thought Crystal Palace were giving as good as they were getting in the opening stages of the game. I thought Palace were, you know, fairly impressive without hurting us too much in the opening stages of the game. Spurs kind of growing and growing as the game was wearing on. And I think as soon as we got that goal, the whole complexion of the game completely changed. Lucas Moura feeding in Harry Kane to put us 1-0 up. And as soon as that happened, I thought there was pretty much only one team in the game. And once the sending off happened, once Zaha stupidly took a swing at, who was it, Tanganga or
Sanchez?
Yeah. Sanchez, sorry. As soon as he took a swing at Sanchez, I mean, the game was pretty much over then, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was really cool to see, like, we had that little lull period, and as soon as we got into the game, it always feels like Spurs need that, like, a couple of things to start happening in a row, and then like we get the legs underneath us, and then the through ball, you know, the Kane goal, and then all of a sudden we're starting to press high and close out the game. Zaha can't get the ball much, you know, we're in his ear, he makes the mistake, and then boom, as soon as that red card happens, it's like, all right, this game's done for them, and we can like start to play football. I love the way that we took Harry Kane off. You know, he's done his stuff. He's got two goals in a row, like easily on.
Back now?
He's easy on for 20. I think he is. I think he's easy on for 20 goals now. Top goal scorer. Lucas Moura with a top assister. You know, we're heading in good places. Is this a run? Are we on a run?
We are right. Look, I'm beaten under Conte now. Look, I think we have had a favourable fixture list. I mean, you can't say that. I mean, Conte's only had one away game to play so far. But look, you got to beat who's in front of you.
Yeah.
You got to beat who's in front of you. And they say no easy games in the Premier League, but the games that we have had are games that we should be winning. Maybe apart from the Liverpool game, which we didn't win. But apart from that, you're saying every other game in that run, we should be winning those games.
And how nice is it to go into games like we've went into games thinking, oh yeah, Palace, we should beat them, and then lose 3-0.
Yeah.
Now we've got the revenge of that game back, and now we actually go into these games feeling like, yeah, we should hammer these teams, and yeah, we do have the quality. Whatever lineup, the great thing is, whatever lineup we kind of pick now, they're kind of doing the job.
Yeah. Absolutely spot on. And, you know, you got to speak about a few individual performances today. Lucas Moura, he was given man of the match by BT, and you know, you can't. It's hard to disagree with that. The quality of his performance today was top notch. 2 assists, a goal, was providing dangerous moments throughout the whole game, time after time. And these are the kind of, this is why a lot of people get so frustrated with Lucas Moura, because we know what he can produce on a football pitch. 2 assists today and a goal. I mean, we just want to see this on a consistent basis from him, don't we?
Yeah, and today he was everywhere. He's speaking about consistency. He's been consistently for the kind of last 5 or 6 games picking up the ball in an area and driving it. Yeah. Like, if you're a defender, I think you're kind of just, if you see him on the starting lineup, you're like, oh no, not this guy. Like, he's going to turn around me. Like, where is he at? You know, like, yeah. He's so hard to get the ball off. He's improved that part of his game. A lot of parts of his game, like the final ball, he's improving. So I think, like, he's increased this. I thought we've kind of maybe seen the best of him. I think he's got a little bit more to go. I think we can see a ceiling rise for Lucas, and I think today he was all over the place. He had a little bit in the second half where he kind of was like, I guess, you know, retaining his energy. He played 90 minutes, and just when you think like, oh, Lucas is kind of like taking his foot off, bang, he finds a perfect little skip, puts him in beautifully. Another one of the best performances today is skip, but he puts him in beautifully. And then even at that point, how many times have you seen players get in that point where it's kind of like, what do I do? And he puts a perfect ball to Son making the run, and there you go, the game's dead, you know.
100%. And you know, that's 2 goals in a row now, 2 games in a row for Lucas Moura, who scored the goal. Harry Kane, that's 2 Premier League games in a row he's scored now. Players are really starting, you know, players that were kind of I know. I think Lucas Moura's pretty much been good the whole season, let's be honest. But players like Harry Kane, other players on the pitch where, Davinson Sanchez, where you think, you know what, I'm not so sure about you in the starting lineup, seeing as how you've been this season. But
Davison had one of those Ben Davies performances today where he pops up in the box, could almost score a screamer at the end. Yeah. He was really good. I thought Son was great to see him get another goal, but Son got his touch back. I thought he was really good.
Do you feel with Sonny that maybe he started the game really well and energetic, and you were looking at those touches, but he kind of drifted out of the game as the game wore on?
I think I was just like a little part of the game where you're up, game's in the bed, and I think they probably would have been hearing Conte, and they're like, as players, they would even go like, "Oh yeah, I mean the game's dead, but yeah, we've got Conte on the set." Like, you're all playing for your skin here, and so I thought it was beautiful that he lifted it up. Like there was a point where the ball looked like he was completely lost it, and he won the ball, tipped it over the player's head, and then he made a move happen, and then he got his goal after that. I'm saying, like, something good happens before you get your goal, and it's just a little spike of like, we're still in this, we still like easily win the game, but I want more, like that adrenaline. All players are going to go through little moments where you get a little bit of a dump, you're winning the game easily. Do I have to murder myself here? I'm playing every single game. Do I have to kill myself? So I thought, stroke of genius when he got his goal to be taken off and for Harry to be taken off. I thought that was really respectful of those players rather than pulling them off the pitch. I think they've done really great. I don't think anyone can argue now about how well Harry's doing. He's doing what you want him to do. He's coming coming deep and getting involved, and he's just being a striker. So we can't, I think Harry Kane is back, and I think Son's back to having his touch right. I think we've got such good options. Bergwijn looked kind of lively when he came on, driving in, hitting shots. We've got kind of good options now for going forward.
I mean, we all went like our squad is completely depleted. We've got no options in the squad, and suddenly Conte's come here, and there are options everywhere.
Isn't that amazing?
Options everywhere.
Isn't that amazing? Like, we're literally going, we need this. We've come into this season going, we have no. And then he's like, yeah, you actually do have backups. Like, Bergwijn could be a striker. You've got really good attacking players all over this team. Like, you really do. You're just looking at, like, when you have a manager who doesn't look at it, then you're going, okay, cool. You go on the Spurs website and it says strikers and it says two names, and all three Scarlet. But you've got other strikers there. I think that's the master, like the kind of masterclass of Conte is going. It's not about what everyone in the stands thinks. We need that, but it's not about what they think. It's not about what the backroom staff and even like all these players who know the players. It's like what I can see in what they have and how I can utilize that in my system. Exactly. That's what I want to do. Yeah. And that's made us all like, it's rejuvenated a whole fan base. It's made us look forward to the next game. Like this is what you want. You want to believe in your team.
Definitely. And I was gutted last night when I was just hearing the game could have potentially been off. But luckily the game wasn't off and we've won 3-0 here. Ollie Skip, we got to talk about him. You mentioned him a second ago saying he had a brilliant performance, and that he definitely did. I mean, we were both talking on air before saying, very close to being second in man the match. He was second, but very close to being up to Lucas Moura's man the match. But we called him Benjamin Button, or Brian Daigle called him Benjamin Button on a previous show on Friday. But the guy, he literally plays like a 28-year-old,
like a seasoned professional. Yeah,
he does, doesn't he?
He's got an old man's face and head on young man's body. But I thought he was just so composed at places. Like, let's be honest, he made like every footballer in every game. If you go through a game and you make two mistakes, then you still had an incredible performance. And he makes up for any mistake he does. Like, if he loses the ball, he fights and wins it back. There was 3 or 4 times today where he made the most unbelievable tackles. Yeah. And it was like, this kid is a beast. But then going forward, he was the one who, like, he was involved in winning the ball, and then he was the one who put the lovely little touch to Lucas. So he did, and I think he was the one who kind of, there was plays where he kind of was winning balls and then we were allowed to attack. So we're thinking like, well, maybe we could add more attacking option in the game. But it's like, I kind of feel like today he did that perfect double pivot role where, Højbjerg did get up a couple of times, but I felt he was carrying the midfield today. And that's crazy because Højbjerg is a seasoned professional. And you can't look at those two players and say one's been playing longer than the other. Yeah. Isn't that mental?
Absolutely spot on. It's so true. You just can't. I mean, the guy, You're right. He looks like he's been doing it for years and years and years, and this is his first year in the Premier League, which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts when you look at his performance on the pitch.
I think you got to be looking at him going, if not Young Player of the Year, he's got to be up there as one of the Players of the Year.
Definitely. I mean, you know, you could even have an argument to put him as Spurs' Player of the Year so far.
Oh, 100%.
Player of the season so far.
Yeah, and I think he should be an England squad player very soon.
Yeah, and you know, another player that could be in the England squad soon, Eric Dyer. I mean, in terms of the defence, I mean, it was hardly tested today, wasn't it?
No, and every time
day for the defence and goalkeeper today.
Yeah, and every time they did get, they just made it. They took care of everything really well. I thought Tanganga was okay as well, but I thought Dyer was so comfortable. Like everything that came his way, he won. He also did some stuff where he had the confidence to like bash the player out the way, take it on his chest, touch it, go through, and he was like down the wing at one point, you know, whipping it, and everything he did was nice in that movement. It wasn't like he was getting nosebleeds by, you know, venturing out. He was completely composed. And I thought actually that was kind of similar. Is this what we're seeing under Conte, that they're maybe doing drills where they're allowing freedom of a centre back? The benefit of a 3 system is you got 2 can fall in and 1 can go.
Right.
At all times in the game, we saw a centre back moving up the pitch and helping out, and then that allows you to contain play, you know, and keep press up, you know. Yeah, brilliant to see. It
really is brilliant to see, and for that player, for the most part today, to beat Davinson Sanchez, crazy. It's crazy just to think about it, because Davis has been the one predominantly doing that. He wasn't in the team today, and Davinson Sanchez took that mantle today, didn't he?
Yeah, and then you know what that kind of proves, though, is that it has a lot to do with Conte. You don't want to take anything from player performances, and Ben Davies has been great, and you know, it's kind of like Conte will probably look at that and go, well, it's obvious. Play a player where he wants to play and loves to play, then you'll get better. But also, you can see marked improvement in every one of them in that back line,
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the 2 players we haven't spoken about today in the fullbacks are Reguilon and Emerson.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think they got on today?
I thought Reggie was brilliant. I thought the amount of crosses he put in, I thought he probably could have had a couple goals if he got angry at Lucas at one point.
Lucas only let it go for him.
Yeah, there was Lucas had tried some spectacular stuff, but look, as an attacker, you don't want to get angry at your attacker trying something great. We're 3-0 up. Let them, you know.
But if the game's at 0-0 and he tries something like that, and
then Reggie is fully right, because those balls were perfect for him. He was in the but that's what's great about Reggie. He was getting to the perfect place for a strike. So that's what I loved about him. On the other side, Emerson's got a lot to do. He ended up having quite a nice game because he was involved in some good movements, and he let in he put Lucas in down the line. He did some good things, and he was integral in winning the ball back, and he didn't give up. He didn't, you know, that's the great thing about him. Sometimes you have the problem with Doherty is if he does get forward, he doesn't get back, you know. And Emerson did get back quite a bit. So there was positives in Emerson's game. He didn't have a really bad game. He just had some parts where you're like, oh, just beat the guy, get there, beat him, you know.
I felt with Emerson that the start of his game was very much like that, but I felt that he grew into the game.
He got an assist.
He got an assist for Lucas Moura's goal, and I think that Emerson, we were giving him maybe not stick, but we were criticising him a tiny bit
at the start
of the game. But
as soon as he got his assist, he looked like he became a different player. Yeah.
Exactly. But that is it. 3-0 against Crystal Palace. Arsenal have won 5-0, but West Ham have dropped points, so we go above them in 5th. I think we're a point above them with 2 games in hand now against West Ham. So awesome. Happy days there. But we need to catch up with Arsenal, keep the hunt going on for the top 4. Next game we have Southampton on New Year's Day. I think it is. Watford on New Year's Day and Southampton just a couple of days before that. So, look, 2 very winnable games coming up. We have to get 6 points on the board, don't we?
Absolutely. This is where it really matters now. That if we get these 2 wins, we're on a proper run. Yeah. Like we're like going good places.
They're away games as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, and it's tests. It's really good tests. You know, Southampton win today.
Southampton won 3-2 against West Ham.
So you know they're no slouches. And Watford as well. We've beaten Watford already this season, but I want to see goals in these games. I want to see us now smash these teams. We are way the better teams. Now we're looking at our squad going, we've actually got a decent squad.
I know.
I hope this doesn't send Levy going, I'll put my checkbook away.
Know exactly what that's going to do to Daniel.
Because it looks like we've all of a sudden got a good team. Do we have a team that can win this thing? Do we have a team that can get second or third? I don't know, but definitely not win it. And this is where I think you should be brave. This man Conte has done real wonders here.
Already.
He's getting
6 games in.
He's getting great things out of players.
Do you think this is Conte doing wonders, or is it a manager bounce? Because a lot of teams, when a new manager comes in, you see a new lease of life string through a team.
Well, I don't think it's a manager bounce because I don't think we were fantastic as soon as he came in, because we had that really dreadful game in Europe, and he was saying, 3 games in, he was like, I'm not a magician. Yeah. And so I think
he is, though.
I think he is, but I think he's got his temperament in the players. Yeah. He's injected his way of football life into these players, and I think it's starting to show. So I don't think it's a bounce. I think it's a run. And that's, this is where tough games away, this is where we show it.
100%. All right, so that is your instant match reaction. Tottenham have won 3-0 today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll be back for the fan show, where it's your chance to have your say on the game. So looking forward to speaking to all you happy Spurs fans out there today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.